Hello everybody, this is just basically a video game diary thing that I'm going to try out. Just basically talk a little bit about what I've been playing when I'm not working or being a dad. So basically in the comments you guys can let me know what you guys have been playing, and I want to talk about some of the struggles of getting older and playing games. So one of the first struggles, I'll start with the worst one here and try to move up to what I think is the best. One of the struggles of aging and playing games is that you have to watch some of the things that you love, I don't know, kind of get reinvented or reinvent themselves. So the first game I want to talk about is this one. Secret of Mana, Secret of Mana, however you want to say it. Great game, back on the NES. I actually had this one when I was a kid. Not the best remake. It feels more like a phone game. I can't really describe it in any other way. It just feels like it was made for mobile. It's a good remake, but there's something missing. I feel like it was maybe a little too faithful to the original. The soundtrack is awful. If you get this game, use the original soundtrack. You get a choice. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Anyways, I'll be trying to finish that up. I don't even remember how far I am. I've basically lost track. It was one of those games I picked it up and then put it down, and now I don't remember what I was doing. That's another thing that's bad about getting older. But anyways, not every game is like this, and I'll get to that in a minute. So here's the next game that I'm playing. Final Fantasy XII, The Zodiac Age. Now this is really good. This game has not been around since it was released on the PS2. I don't even want to try to guess when that was. That had to be like before 2007, right? It's pretty old. It's a pretty big game. I've probably gotten more than halfway through it this playthrough. I have a lot left to do. I'm pretty much done with the license boards. But the reason I want to talk about this one is because, as opposed to Secret of Mana, this isn't really a remake. This is kind of just a reinvigoration, is that a word? It is now, version of the game where they've basically doctored up the graphics. It's very pretty. It's a very pretty game. The reorchestrated soundtrack is amazing. It's actually easy to use that version as opposed to the originals. I kind of leave the soundtrack set to the orchestrated one because it's that good. They've tweaked a lot of things, like magic is actually useful now, whereas I don't remember it being useful in the original PS2 version. It's a lot of fun. I actually appreciate it more this time around, which might not be one of the bad things about getting older and playing games. I hated Final Fantasy XII when it first came out. Didn't like it at all. Don't remember why. Probably because it takes place in the same world that Final Fantasy Tactics takes place in, so maybe I expected it to be like Final Fantasy Tactics, and it is in some respects, but in others not at all. Maybe I was expecting too much, but the game is actually pretty smart. It's got a good story. It's got great characters. It's just a little faulty on maybe some of the Gambit stuff. Is not my cup of tea. But overall, basically, I need to finish the game still, and then I need to clean up a lot of the extras, which I never did in the original PS2 version. I beat the game, but then when it came to the ultimate weapons and the bosses, I was just kind of like, eh. So while we're on the topic of digging up games from the past, more or less, I've had this, the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Actually, this is my girlfriend's. This is not mine. But since it came out, and this is probably the best remake that I have ever played in my life. Not only is the game very gorgeous, the sound effects are great, I mean, I can't really describe it. It feels like you're playing the original, only it's not quite the original, because there are some people out there on the internet who have examined the games and found out that Crash handles differently. He doesn't jump maybe as high as he did. But really, if you're like me and the last time that you played the original Crash Bandicoot was on a PlayStation disc, you're not really going to notice The only thing I had to say about the game that was negative, but has since been patched, is the loading times have been insanely reduced with the most recent patch. That pretty much fixed, and you can finally skip that long, annoying opening where they felt compelled to show you every single time you started the game up who made it. It's like, yeah, I know, good for you, I don't care, can I play the game? The long loading times always threw me off, because I'm like, wait, this is an older game older games that you remade. Why does it take so long to load? I could never figure that out. But anyways, I just platinumed the first game. That was something that I didn't think that I was going to be able to do, just because a lot of those really hard levels, like the bridge ones where camera angle is you're moving away and you have these singular boards that you need to jump on, I never thought I would get those, because not only do you have to do it in one shot in time trial, you have to be fast. You can't dawdle and take your time like I feel like you can a little bit in the latter games. 2 gets easier, and I think 3 gets significantly easier. But I mean, I don't ever remember Crash being difficult, which, so, you know, as you age, you notice the things that used to be just, you know, a breeze are now like, oh my god, how did I ever do this? But I did platinum the first one, so I'm super proud of myself there, because I didn't think that was something that I was ever going to be able to do. And the last game I'm playing, and I actually just picked it up today, Sonic Mania. So I'm finally giving my Xbox back some love, because these other games are my PlayStation 4, which I believe, kind of weird, I'm like a purist, I like to remain faithful. This was originally on PlayStation, so I just had to get it for PlayStation, but because this, you know, doesn't really exist on any prior platform, I didn't really feel as though I had to get it on PlayStation. I just like the Xbox controller. Anyways, so another interesting thing about, well, first of all, Sonic Mania is good. I played it a little bit today. But one of the other things that's kind of stinks about getting older and playing games is I passed on this game when it first came out, and I've passed on Cuphead. There's also a game, Hellblade, I passed on, and it's very easy for me to just be like, no thank you, because they're digital only, and I don't really do digital games. If I wanted that, I would go PC. I'm not a PC gamer. I like consoles. I understand that consoles are underpowered and behind, but what a lot of people, especially maybe young kids, don't get is that you played games on a certain console for the experience. And I guess back in the day that could be summed up as you played Nintendo because it had Mario, it had Zelda. You played Genesis because it had Sonic. You know, you didn't play Genesis because you liked Mario games. You know, you went at it for the experience. You know what I mean? It was all about the experience. You were at a friend's house, you could plug in a second controller, you could play Mario together. It was the experience. So for me now, 20-something years later, it's very much the same. I still play games for the experience, and that's something that's getting harder and harder and harder each and every day, because Sonic Mania came out and I was like, oh my god, this looks like it's just basically what Sonic fans have always wanted. You know, Sega's finally giving us this Sonic game that we've always wanted, not getting a physical release. And it's really bad when these games are coming out and there's no word on whether it's getting one or not, because then you're like, great, it's probably not going to happen. And whereas it was common for like smaller indie games, it's becoming more and more common for like slightly bigger games to just be digital and that's it. You don't get a physical game, and I pass on those. Like, I really hope Cuphead comes out someday, even if it's down the road on some future console, Cuphead remastered or whatever. I hope it gets a physical release, because I just won't buy. The only time I buy digital games is when they're next to free. I got L.A. Noire, the Ultimate Edition, on PS3 because it was on sale for, I think, $8 on the Sony's store. I don't remember what I paid, but it was very cheap. And that's the problem with me in digital games, is they have to get, because I have to be able to hold the game. That's just how I grew up. That was the only way that you could play. That's it. You couldn't go download a game. It wasn't even a thing. But Sonic Mania gives me hope because it shows that a game can come out and have a period of time where it's not available. You know, you can't go out into a store and buy it. You have to download it on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. And after that period of time has elapsed and the game has received numerous updates and whatnot, it can be released physically. And the physical version could be as patched as it's going to get. I feel like that's where physical games are gonna maybe head. Not every game, not like the big ones, but maybe a lot of games will do that. They'll release digitally, give it a year or two, hopefully not two, and then once they've got all these patches and content updates accumulated, they'll release it in a store and it's got all those patches. Because I know a lot of people often say to me, well, physical games are going to go because once you get the disc, oftentimes it's outdated the day you get it, because you pop it in your console and there's a patch that you have to download. And I'm like, okay, well, fair enough, but at the same time, there are plenty of games like Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness I don't think ever got any updates. I mean, that's a really bad example because it's not a good game, but I feel like you can release a game, you know, after it's been out for a year and say, okay, that's it. We've squashed the bugs we want to squash. We've fixed the typos or whatever that we wanted to fix. So the physical release is, that's what you get. So that's what I'm playing. As for games that I'm looking forward to, I'm going to be doing another video, hopefully, unless real life calls me away, on the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, which comes out tomorrow, or today, depending on when you're watching this. Or it's already came out, and I haven't uploaded this. That's really exciting. That's going to be, just harkens back to the old days of my childhood where, I'm just going to be going straight through those games, 1, 2, 3, and on. Can't wait to play those. I'll definitely be running out of the house tomorrow to go pick those up. So anyways, feel free to leave me a comment. What are you playing? What are you playing that maybe you're disappointed with? What are you playing that you like? Are you older, 30s, 40s? What are some of the struggles of getting older and playing games? Let me know. And what's coming out that you're looking forward to? Oh, and this is kind of a no-brainer, but Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, that's another one. The old West. I feel like the Westerns are coming back, They won't be as good as they were, but I feel like they're coming back. Anyways, this is Brock Shake for my first Gamer's Diary. And since I'm no good at ending videos, I'll just say, I'll see you next time.